She said he was married, so there was nothing to worry about, until his wife texted me at 1 a.m. My name is Evan, 31, a software engineer. My girlfriend is Lena, 28, an interior designer. We've been together for almost 3 years, a relationship I thought was mature enough to survive anything, until a man walked back into her story, as if he had never truly left her life. Lena first mentioned him during dinner. I ran into Mark today at the client's office. He's a project director there now. Haven't seen him in ages. I asked a simple, harmless question. Who's Mark? She replied, also very harmlessly, just an old friend. He's married. Nothing to worry about. And you know what? He's married is exactly what people say, when there is actually something. I didn't suspect anything right away. I'm not the controlling type. But a few weeks later, Mark started showing up a little too often. Lena smiled whenever she mentioned his work messages. Lena kept her phone closer to her. Lena was suspiciously cheerful after these meetings. One evening, while I was washing the dishes, she said, Mark invited me and the team for drinks after work. It'd be rude not to go, I asked. Anyone else outside the team? Of course, he's married. Relax. And that was the third time that week she said he's married. That sentence started to sound like a shield, held by someone whose hands were trembling. Then Friday night happened. Lena said she'd be home a bit late. I didn't ask much, but at 11 p.m., she still wasn't home. At midnight, a text. I'm driving Mark home because he's drunk. His wife can't pick him up. I kept rereading that line. His wife can't pick him up. My girlfriend is driving another woman's husband home. At midnight, I replied, okay, be careful. She texted back immediately, there's nothing going on. I'll be home soon. I believed it, halfway. The other half tried to calm itself down, but then, at 1 a.m. while I was sitting on the couch trying not to imagine things, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened the message. The first line sent a cold shock down my spine. Sorry if this seems sudden, but I'm Mark's wife. I shot upright. The next message came right after. Do you know where Lena is with my husband at this hour? And at that moment, every excuse of, he's married, it's not a problem, it became the emptiest sentence I had ever heard. The message from his wife made my hands turn ice cold. I stared at the screen for a few seconds before replying. I'm sorry, what? Lena said she was driving Mark home. Just 5 seconds later, another message hit like a hammer. He is not home. I've been here since 10 p.m. I shot to my feet. My heart was pounding like someone was squeezing it tight. The dark room suddenly felt smaller, heavier. Another message came immediately. Let me ask again. Do you know where Lena and my husband are right now? I didn't know, but now I knew one thing. Lena had lied. I typed, have you tried calling Mark? Mark's wife replied, over 30 times. He won't answer. Lena won't either. My throat started to dry up. There were hundreds of reasons why they both weren't answering. You only need one correct reason for everything to collapse. 10 minutes later, I tried calling Lena. No answer. Called again. Nothing. Texted her. Lena, where are you? No response. And right then my phone buzzed. A message from Mark's wife, with an address attached. Mark's phone location just updated. Here, do you want to go with me? I stared at the address, a hotel, right in the city center. The kind of hotel people don't go to just to crash for the night. I'm not someone who gets angry easily, but my chest felt tight, hot, heavy, like my entire body wanted to scream while my brain clung to one last stupid bit of hope. Maybe there's some kind of mistake. Maybe they were helping someone else. Maybe, but the other half of me, the half that had been enduring this for months, said straight to my face, you know exactly what's happening. I texted the wife back, go ahead, I'm on my way. She sent only one message, I want the truth. We both deserve that. As I drove out of the parking garage, it felt like someone was poking tiny holes in my chest, not the sharp kind of pain, the slow, suffocating kind that betrayal brings. I remembered the things Lena used to say. Mark is just a coworker. I feel bad for his wife. She's always suspicious. Married men are safer, they don't look for new relationships. I was stupid enough to believe every word. I pulled into the hotel parking lot and the wife was already there, under the warm yellow lights. She looked frighteningly calm, the kind of calm only people who've been hurt too much can create. She looked at me, are you sure? Before we go up, just know that once you see the truth, you can't go back. I swallowed hard. Do you know the room number? She held up her phone, room 614. We stepped into the elevator. Neither of us spoke. Only the soft ding for each floor the elevator climbed, each one feeling like another stab. On the 6th floor, we walked down the hallway. Every step felt like stepping on my own self-respect. Standing outside room 614, she looked at me. Do you want to knock, or should I? I took a deep breath. Let me. I raised my hand. Knocked 3 times. Knocked, knock, knock. The sounds inside the room suddenly stopped. A dead, heavy silence. Then, the shuffle of slippers on carpet. Someone walking toward the door. The wife and I looked at each other. The door opened. The door opened just a crack before being stopped by the security chain. Half a face peeked out. It was Mark. Messy hair, wrinkled t-shirt, and Lena didn't show up immediately. When Mark saw me, his face drained of color. But when he noticed his wife standing beside me, he actually stepped back half a step, like someone had just thrown boiling water at him. "Julie, why are you?" His wife cut him off with a voice so calm it was terrifying. "Remove the chain. Mark, we're going to face the truth together." Mark swallowed hard. His hand trembled. It's not what you both think." Julie smirked, then opened the door. Mark looked at me, then at Julie, then back into the room, as if he was calculating whether he could hide something in the next 0.5 seconds. Finally, he removed the latch. The door swung open, and the first thing I saw, Lena was sitting on the bed, wearing a hoodie, not her hoodie, hair tied in a rush, eyes wide like a kid caught stealing. I froze, couldn't say a word. Lena jumped up immediately. "Evan, it's not what you think." Julie stepped into the room before I did, uninvited. Unapologetic, she looked around, at a wine glass still with the last drops in it, at Mark's jacket thrown over the sofa, at Lena searching for words to justify herself. Julie asked, softly but sharp as a blade, "So, what exactly are the two of you doing here?" Mark stepped toward her. "Julie, you turned off your phone. You disabled your location. You said you had to leave early for work." Julie pointed at the bed. "And this is your work trip." Lena opened her mouth. "It's not like that." Julie didn't look at her. She only looked at me. "Evan, do you want to hear it from her?" I took a deep breath, trying to steady my voice. "Lena, say it." Lena clenched her fists. I just came here to comfort Mark. He said his wife makes him feel suffocated. He needed someone to talk to." Julie let out a laugh, the tired, a bitter laugh of someone who's been betrayed too many times. "Wow, that story is so old I can recite the next line." Mark tried again. "Julie, me and Lena just..." Julie turned to him. "If you say just one more time, I'm filing for divorce tomorrow morning." Mark shut up instantly. Julie looked at me. No pity in her eyes, just the raw truth. "They didn't come here to talk, and you know that." I looked at Lena. Lena looked at me, and I knew even before she spoke that her answer would break me. "Lena," I said, "answer this. Why did you come to this hotel room?" No excuses, no pretty words, just the truth. Lena pressed her lips together, her heartbeat visible under her shirt. Then she said, in a voice more like metal hitting the floor, "I just wanted to help him get through a hard time." Julie snapped. "A hard time in his pants?" Mark flushed. "Julie..." I stared at Lena. She avoided my eyes. I stepped closer, my voice deep. "Lena, did you want this to happen?" She trembled, pressed her lips again, then said, "I don't know." Julie sighed, bitter but clear. "Let me translate for him. I don't know means yes, but she doesn't have the guts to say it." Lena burst into tears. "No, it's not like that. Evan, I swear nothing happened between us." Julie's voice turned ice cold. "Then what brought you to a hotel room with a married man at night after lying to your boyfriend?" Lena said nothing. Mark didn't even dare breathe loudly. The room fell into that kind of silence where every truth is already exposed, even if no one says it out loud. Finally, Julie turned to me. "Evan, it's time for you to choose. Do you want to hear more lies, or walk out of here with your self-respect intact?" I looked at Lena one last time. Her shoulders collapsed. My chest felt like it was filled with concrete. I said, "I don't need to hear anything else." Room 614 was silent, like a place about to witness a verdict. I stepped back a little, not out of fear, but because all the pieces had finally fallen into place. No more doubt, no more desperate hope. Julie folded her arms, standing beside me like an accidental ally. Mark stood frozen. Lena was still kneeling at the edge of the bed, her hands trembling uncontrollably. I looked at her and asked, "Do you want to say anything to me, besides the things you didn't have the courage to admit?" Lena shook her head. "Evan, I was wrong, but I didn't do anything. I just came here to talk." I was confused. I needed someone to listen to me. I nodded slightly. "I know, but who you choose to be listened by, that's what makes the difference." Julie let out a small breath and said, "Lena, do you know what Mark told me right before he turned off his location? He said he had to meet a client tonight. A demanding one." She looked at Mark, and that demanding client was her. Mark protested. "Julie, don't make it sound like..." Julie cut him off. "Shut up. Let me say this clearly just once." She turned to Lena, her voice no longer angry. Now it held something like pity. "Do you know how many times he's done this? How many women, exactly like you?" Lena froze. "No, he told me, of course he did." Julie shrugged. "They always say, my marriage is falling apart. My wife doesn't understand me. I need someone who cares." "Oh, the classic script." Mark clenched his fists. "Julie, stop dragging my name through the mud in front of them." Julie laughed. "Dragging? Should I show them the emails you sent your assistant last year, or the telegram messages to that new intern? I kept everything." Mark went silent instantly. Lena looked at Mark, her eyes shattering like glass. You did this with other women before." Mark stammered, voice tiny. "That was in the past. I thought you were different. I needed you." Julie clapped once, a sharp, mocking sound. "There it is. Classic line number 2. Lena burst into tears and turned to me. "Evan, I didn't know he was like this. I looked straight at her and spoke slowly. You just wanted to be heard by someone who made you feel important, by someone who made your heart flutter. She covered her face. I'm sorry. I didn't respond, because her apology had no value anymore. Qley stepped forward, her eyes slightly red but her voice steady. Evan, you can't change Lena, just like I can't change Mark. But we can walk away from this mess before it drags us down. That sentence hit like a slap of clarity. She was right. I didn't come here to fight for anyone. I came to see the truth. I turned to Mark, and you, I don't care who you are or how much money you make, but this is the last time you pull someone into the holes you dig. Mark flushed, unable to reply. Qley asked, do you have anything to say, Mark? Mark opened his mouth. Qley, I need you. Qley gave him a cold smile. Too bad. I don't. I turned back to Lena. She stood up abruptly, trying to approach me, but I stepped back. Evan, please don't leave me. I'll end everything with Mark. I'll block him. I swear. Good, I said. But not for me. For your own dignity. Lena collapsed, grabbing my hand, but I pulled it away. She asked through tears, do you still love me? I looked at the girl I once loved so deeply, looked at this room, at this night, at the truth laid bare. Then I answered, yes, but I don't respect you anymore. The whole room held its breath. Qley looked at me, not with pity, but with respect. Lena crumbled onto the bed, sobbing. Mark stared at the floor for the first time, looking exactly like the loser of his own dirty game. I turned and walked toward the door. Qley walked beside me when the door closed behind us. Qley said, Evan, you did the right thing. I nodded. For the first time in months, my chest felt lighter. The truth isn't easy to swallow, but it frees you. The night wind was cold when we walked out of the hotel, but strangely easy to breathe. Not the stabbing cold that hit my chest the day Lena admitted her feelings for Adam. Not the heavy cold from when I carried my suitcase out of my own apartment this time. It was the cold of release. Qley stood beside me, arms folded, eyes staring into the parking lot. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? I asked. For letting me see Mark's true face. I've listened to his lies alone for years today. At least someone finally saw what I've been seeing. I nodded. And thank you, I said. Because if you hadn't messaged me, I'd still be blindly believing whatever Lena said. Qley exhaled. Evan, just remember this, when someone lets their intimacy with another person cross the line, even if it's only emotional, there's always a reason they let it happen. I stayed silent. Her words hit my chest like a hammer. Emotional betrayal is still betrayal, and Lena had crossed that line long ago. Qley opened her car door, then paused. If you need someone to talk to, or just someone who listens, I'm here. Not because of Mark, but because we just went through the same kind of pain. Thank you, I replied. She gave a faint smile and drove off. The next were an argue when I got back to the apartment. Pepper ran to my feet like always, and Lena, she was sitting on the sofa, dark circles under her eyes, hair messy, looking like she hadn't slept at all. When she saw me, she sprang up. Evan, you're back. I didn't answer. I just walked to the kitchen to get some water. Lena followed, voice trembling. I'm sorry. I was stupid. I was blind. I didn't know Mark was that kind of person. I thought I set my glass down and cut her off. Lena, what happened with Mark isn't the problem. She froze. It's not. I shook my head. The problem is, you let your feelings waver long before anything even happened. Tears streamed down her face. Evan, I was wrong. I panicked. I was weak. But the person I love is you. Maybe I said, but you still let him step into a place only I was supposed to be. Lena dropped to her knees in front of me for the first time since we'd ever met. Evan, please, give me a chance. I'll change my number. I'll block him everywhere. I swear this will never happen again. I don't want to lose you. I looked at the woman I once planned to propose to this year. The woman I thought was home. But a home with a side door for someone else isn't home, Lena. I spoke slowly. You're not losing me because of Mark. You're losing me because you didn't choose me before anyone forced you to choose. She burst into tears, clinging to me. I gently removed her hands. Evan, please, don't leave. I stood and walked to the bedroom. No luggage. No slamming around, just grabbed a few essentials, same as last time. Lena rushed in, grabbing my arm. Don't do this. I'll do anything you want. I'll go to therapy. I'll do everything. I looked at her one last time. I want someone who chooses me without me having to ask. She collapsed onto the floor, choking on her sobs. Evan, I love you, I replied, but love without priority is just an illusion. I walked to the door. Pepper followed, meowing as if she didn't understand but could feel something ending. I kneeled and petted her. I'll come back for you. Behind me, Lena cried out. Will you? Will you come back to me? I didn't turn around. No. The door closed. No slam. No theatrics. Just a period at the end of a chapter. 2 weeks later, he was staying at Liam's place one morning. While I was making coffee, Liam walked into the kitchen holding up his phone. Bro, you need to see this. On the screen was Qley's post. I'm separated, and I'm proud that I finally left someone who never valued me. Below it, hundreds of supportive comments. I raised my eyebrows. She's strong. Liam nodded. And you, ready to write a new chapter? I looked out the window. The morning sunlight streamed in, not too bright, not too cold. I smiled. Yeah, I think it's time. No loud drama. No revenge. No proving who's better. Just one lesson. When someone needs to be emotionally heard by someone of the opposite sex, the relationship has been cracked long before that moment. And sometimes, the strongest way to love yourself is to walk away before your self-respect disappears.